Hi everyone, and welcome to 2Checkout Summer Release webinar for 2020. It's also our very first release delivered while working fully from home. I'm Juana Treff. I lead the product managers and product marketing teams here at 2Checkout, and it will be my pleasure to be your host today as we discover new ways in which you can enhance your commerce business and adapt your subscription billing to this fast-changing economy that we're all living in these days. Joining me today is Lorraine Marquise. She's the Global Director of Pre-Sales and Sales Operations here at 2Checkout. And together we'll guide you through the summer's enhancements and some of the opportunities that we've prepared for you. But just before we get started, I'd like us to quickly go over some housekeeping rules. First of all lines are on mute for a better listening experience. But this webinar is recorded and you'll receive both the video as well as the presentation in the follow-up. Throughout the webinar, feel free to submit any questions you might have using the question box. We'll make sure to address as many as we can towards the end of the webinar. And in the follow-up, you'll also receive the answers to any questions we may not get a chance to go over this during this session. As always, we appreciate any feedback on the session, so please use the dedicated form at the end to share your thoughts with us. And with that, I think it's time for us to have a look at what we've been cooking for this summer release. Allow me to start by sharing a bit of a context on what we heard from you, our merchants, when we asked about your upcoming investments on how you plan on adapting post-COVID market conditions. As we expected, a lot of companies are shifting their priorities towards digital commerce and supporting their own customers to overcome these economic challenges that they're facing, with majority of the companies prioritizing initiatives to launch new promotions, launch new products, upgrades or upsells, and many of those focusing on subscriptions to reduce their churn. Some other tactics that we've heard about are companies that are leveraging new solutions to enter new markets. They're in search of new business models using testing and conversion rate optimization tactics for their ordering engines, and they're looking to reduce their operational costs. And to cover all these challenges that we've heard with this summer release, we bring you about 250 enhancements to the monetization platform with the sole mission to support your online business in the efforts to adapt to these changing times. We wanted basically to help you be nimble and offer you out-of-the-box tools to create a personalized ordering and engagement experience. We wanted to offer you more options to be able to support your subscribers' retention with close to no engineering resources, because we know these are hard to get a hand of during these days, and help you reduce significantly your costs to scale and sale internationally. I'd like to give you just a quick taste of the highlights we'll be covering in today's session. First of all, we've lined up a multitude of capabilities that we aimed to help create a more personalized and brand-centric experience for your customers. My colleague will also demo the latest advancements of Convert Plus engine, the new templates in your gallery, as well as the upgraded third-party plugins and new payment methods that we're extending for the summer release. For those of you who sell subscriptions, we looked to reduce churn, and we are introducing an exciting retention tool suite that comes together with also pay by usage improvements. And for the third theme that we aimed in the summer release, the third theme pretty much sums all of the investments that we've done as part of our continued commitment to ensure that you stay compliant when you sell internationally and that you offload the costs of managing everything that has to do with data privacy, with security, with payment compliance and tax requirements. And some of the examples are related to new authentication algorithms, tax exemption certificates, and cookie management, just because we're in tune with the latest regulations around the world. So let's explore all of these into a bit more detail than this teaser slide right here. Now, with new customers starting their online purchase experiences now more than ever, we understand that you also need to be equipped with the best of breed checkout experiences. And we've run multiple A/B tests to find the better ways to improve in-cart conversion rates. And it's all those successful learnings from the test that we hope will help you when you're using our hosted ordering engines. This is why we've updated Convert Plus, the default template, to help you boost your conversion rates. And we're also releasing a new template for our default engine as well. We've also extended our custom price feature for those of you who use inline cart so that you can start using the overlay checkout experience while setting up special or limited time custom offerings and adapting to your customers' unique expectation during these times. And because not every special offer needs to be tailored for each customer in particular, we know that you need to have full control over the discounted price that's displayed to your customers. So we've introduced such special price promotions to your customers that are purchasing through Convert Plus. And with that, I think I'll hand it over to Lorraine to tell us more about what are some of the options that our merchants are looking for to improve conversions.
Thanks, Juana. So at 2Checkout, we offer a full array of implementation options for our merchants for the checkout process. Our hosted checkout is ready out of the box, requiring zero development. Once the shopper initiates the checkout process on the merchant's website, he's redirected to a cart hosted on the 2Checkout servers where he completes the purchase. These hosted checkout pages are also customizable. This is a simple, out-of-the-box, zero-effort option. Our inline checkout is preferred by merchants who wish to offer customers a seamless experience that adapts and integrates the checkout page across any device and web channel. The cart has been designed following the latest user experience and conversion optimization best practices with a simple and straightforward interface. Most importantly, the shopper is never redirected to a separate checkout page, but is instead presented with an iframe form that securely collects the payment details. And lastly, a cart can be built using our ordering APIs and embedded into the merchant's website. This requires some technical integration, but provides the highest level of flexibility and customization for the merchant. Using the newly released 2Pay JavaScript library on top of our API 6.0, we're bringing speed and flexibility into the merchant's digital commerce operations, while reducing the complexity of PCI DSS validation process to qualify for the easiest form, known as SAC-A. We all know that when it comes to selling online, one of the most important keywords is conversion rate. Following multiple conversion optimization campaigns through A/B testing and analytics, we're rolling out a new default design for the latest Convert Plus and inline cart ordering engines. First, we looked at our Convert Plus engine and did some updates that might seem like minor changes, but you should expect them to have a significant impact to the checkout experience. We've adjusted fonts, colors, and form fields. We've improved the way we display coupons and promotions. We've improved the payment method selection button, and the list goes on. We've tested these changes across several industries and markets, and they've proven great results, enabling a smoother checkout flow, less distractions, and as a consequence, reducing cart abandonment. We didn't publish this as a news template as we typically do, but instead we chose to update the existing default template, which means that all existing merchants using Convert Plus will benefit from these changes. We are now closer to a unified style sheet for Convert Plus templates, meaning we will use the same UI elements in various templates, which will make future iterations faster as an additional benefit. Convert Plus isn't the only one that gets a facelift. We are releasing improvements to our default ordering engine. As a result, A/B tests conducted with our merchants and customizations from our professional services team, we've made updates to provide a smoother checkout flow and less distractions, like reducing the height of the form and merging sections to prevent scrolling. Some additional key improvements are improved PayPal flows, decrease in cognitive load for the customer by removing all redundant elements. We've changed the order of the fields in the form and redesigned the company and person selector, and updated shopping cart text. As with our Convert Plus ordering engine, these improvements were released as an update for existing OmniCart Flow default template. So nothing our merchants need to do, they instantly get the benefit of these updates to our ordering engine. We also looked into how our merchants are using our ordering engines and how we can better address their needs. We know that while most online merchants usually sell at list prices and use our promotion, upsell, and cross-sell features to engage customers, there are times when those merchants need increased flexibility when it comes to product pricing. For example, it's common in larger sales to negotiate pricing. Our on-the-fly pricing feature does just that. This feature has been available in our Convert Plus and default ordering engines. We have also added it to the inline cart. To make this possible and not jeopardize security or expose the merchant to fraud risk, the inline cart requires a signature for specific use cases like on-the-fly pricing. A second example is represented by merchants who collect the shopper information earlier in the process, either because they only allow logged-in shoppers to reach the checkout, or because they build or are using a shopping cart prior to sending them over to us for payment. A good example here is that of merchants using connectors like Magento or PrestaShop. For these merchants that go through our inline cart, we've enabled the option to reduce the number of steps in the checkout process down to only requesting the payment information as long as all other mandatory information is provided. For these two features, I would also like to go into a quick demo for you to be able to get an experience of what we've built. So I've done some mock-up simple web development here. What I'm not showing here on the HTML for this inline cart demo is that I've inserted a JavaScript code snippet generated by our platform into my HTML page. This now gives me access to the library that allows me to add products, set billing details and other parameters, and ultimately control the start of the checkout process. As I indicated earlier, in order to use custom price, you'll need to generate a signature, which I've done here for the inline cart. I've added the product code here for my product, and I've set the price, in this case, $10 US. I'm in the US, okay? So if I click on Buy Now, simulating my website, you'll see I'm put into a cart. This cart is our inline checkout. It's an overlay on top of my website. You can see I've passed in my custom or on-the-fly pricing, okay? If I continue to billing, I can enter as a person or a company. So enter my billing, my postal code, okay, and continue to payment. And now I enter my payment, my credit card details, okay, and place order. Oh, nice save there telling me that I did not enter security code, and I've placed my order. Notice that there's still an overlay on top of my web page. Our second use case will use the new auto advance feature of the inline cart. To show you the difference, I'll demonstrate the old capability and then the new streamlined implementation. So here you use multiple methods to preset the billing details. So notice I'm passing in the name, email, phone, etc. I've got to call each method to set those parameters in our previous implementation. Again, as I select Buy Now, I'm presented with the inline cart. If I continue to billing, notice that I've pre-filled email address and country. If I go over here, I can see the additional parameters passed, okay? Again, continue to payment. It's filled in my name because we passed in the name parameter in our JavaScript, and I would fill in my payment and billing information. Now let me demo the streamlined implementation using Auto Advance. In this case, I simply set the billing fields here. I'm only setting name and email and country. And I use the set auto advance method. Now when I click on the Buy Now button, notice I've completely gone straight to the entering my billing details or payment details because my billing details are already filled in. So this streamlines for the customers, passing in, reducing cart abandonment. This auto advance feature streamlines the checkout, and it's also used for third-party tools like Magento and those who require registration prior to checkout. That concludes our demo, and now I will turn it back over to Juana.
Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you for showing our solution in action. Now, you've demoed the custom pricing, and we know this is a popular approach for many customers, but there are also many businesses that have very specific needs to control the promotional price that multiple customers see during checkout. That usually, when setting up a promotion, you either define a discount or the total amount or the percentage. Now, this is where special price promotions come into place. They give merchants the options to define the end price that the user will see in the cart. It's particularly important if you want to achieve that charm price or that psychological pricing. That is to tap on the belief that a specific price can trigger an emotional reaction in people. And there's multiple studies that show that because most of the consumers in the Western world read the price from left to right, they're more likely to latch onto the first number they see as an anchor point. So for example, if your product costs 699 euros, it can feel like significantly less than 700 euros from a first impression, even if it's just a €1 difference. And special price promotions allow you to fix this charm price for any geography that you're selling and not worry about how different tax rates can impact the final price from one country to the other. It was a feature that was heavily used by our top merchants on our default ordering engines. So we wanted to extend it and offer support for it in Convert Plus as well as in line for all of our packages. Now, our last story around conversion is about cart abandonment. Usually for e-commerce, the cart abandonment rate is around 70%. That obviously depends on a lot of factors. It can vary anywhere between 50 to 90%. But still, I would say that a 70% average means that basically out of 100 potential customers that reach your cart, about 70 of them don't complete the order. And this is where having an out-of-the-box cart abandonment tool comes in, because it triggers follow-up emails to those potentially lost customers, and it brings them back into the cart to complete the order. This again is one of the most used features on our default ordering engines. So we're launching this for Convert Plus with a twist because we're launching it with an improved version. Now, besides that way you set up the campaigns for these follow-ups, which many of you are already familiar with, the experience that we offer to the shoppers through Convert Plus will be different in a good way, because whenever a customer leaves the cart, when they generate that lead, that we will also capture everything that has to do with the session, the checkout template that he was on, the customizations, including any additional fields in the checkout form, the cart content with any promotions or custom prices that were applied. So everything that's needed to recreate the exact same experience. That is because we know that every sales channel is treated differently. You might have a special landing page targeting a subcategory of your customers with a special offer, or even with a special checkout experience that's tailored to their specific shopping behavior. And now with more customers shopping online these days, we wanted to offer this to all our merchants out of the box and a localized recovery solution that helps them convert the extra traffic into an extra revenue as well. Now, with new customers starting their online purchase experience now more than ever, our merchants need to be equipped with the best of breed checkout experiences. And I was mentioning that we've run multiple A/B tests to find the right one. And it's those successful learnings that we've added in this as well. Based on those tests, we've also identified that it takes local payment methods to support the international sales. That means being able to offer the localized preferred payment methods to your customers, whether you're selling in Russia, China, India, or so on. But it's also very important for us to be able to support different integrations and expand those integrations into this international sales process. And sorry, yeah, go ahead, Lorraine. I was about to ask you to tell us a bit more about Russia.
Yeah, thanks, Joanna. So Russian e-commerce is one of the major emerging online commerce markets worldwide. As a steady expanding market since 2010, has experienced a particularly accelerated growth during the last few years. Namely, the value of the e-commerce market in the country has more than doubled from 2017 to 2019. Analysts expect this figure to keep growing as Russians become more comfortable with online payments. While international scheme providers MasterCard and Visa continue to dominate the Russian card market, they have experienced a dip in their cumulative market share owing to the rise in adoption of Mir card. In 2014, the United States and the European Union imposed sanctions over the crisis in Ukraine. Consequently, the largest U.S. credit and debit card companies were forced to cut ties with several Russian banks. At the time, Visa and MasterCard processed 90% of all payments in Russia. To combat the country's reliance on Western payment providers, the Bank of Russia created the Mir system and card. The Russian payment system Mir is booming, carving out a role for itself as a dominant domestic and now international player in just 5 years. More than 56 million Mir cards were issued from 2015 to mid-2019. By the end of last year, the number rose to over 60 million, accounting for about 25% of all Russian card payments. A federal law signed by the Russian president in May of 2017 mandated that all public sector employees and workers who receive welfare benefits from federal state funds to migrate to Mir payment cards from July 1st, 2018. To increase acceptance in international markets, these cards are now being issued as co-badged cards with American Express, JCB, and MasterCard. We suggest you stay ahead of the competition by offering local payment methods like Mir that are now available. Those localized payment methods can make a huge difference in conversion rates, even more when we're talking about using APIs to build a cart. While it's going to give you the full flexibility to seamlessly build the cart to your specific look and feel and business model, it does mean it brings a lot of complexity, including adding more and more payment methods in order to keep conversion rates up, no matter where the customers might be located. That's why we continue to add new payment methods into our API. And today we're talking about web money, which, by the way, is also a very popular payment solution in Russia and CIS states as well as Asia, as well as Alipay and GiroPay. By using these new payment methods via API, we're opening a very large market to payment methods that they know and trust. Alipay has more than half of the market share for China, with more than 900 million users last year alone. Adding another 14 million for web money, both in Europe and Asia, we're looking at a huge number of potential customers that we're addressing. Adding GiroPay into the mix adds a big percentage of the German customers that are not using the usual credit card brands. What is important to keep in mind is that these new payment methods are aimed at to monetize. Activation-wise, these new payment methods can be activated just like others in the control panel. With these 3 new payment methods, we've reached 24 payment methods in the public API. We'll keep adding more and more payment methods based on the volumes we see, so stay tuned for our next releases. Now let me give you an update on our connectors. Connectors are built as an interface between 2Checkout and third-party e-commerce applications. There are many e-commerce applications out there, and their main goal is to set the ground for selling online through merchandising capabilities. When companies that use these third-party tools want to accept global payments, they turn to 2Checkout connectors. The role of the connector is to sync the data between a third-party e-commerce app and 2Checkout as the payment processor. The sync is done both ways. We get all the details required to place the order, and the status of the order is then pushed back into the e-commerce app. We have more than 120 connectors currently available for 2Sell accounts. We've started upgrading them from the legacy 2Checkout carts to our new ordering engines, Convert Plus, Inline, and API. Shopify is the biggest one in terms of the number of active merchants on 2Checkout, with more than 3,300 merchants. Therefore, we prioritized it first to upgrade to our new ordering engine. The new connector was launched recently, and we've migrated more than 10 merchants already. It is using the Convert Plus checkout and all the benefits that come along with it: a fresh UI, a responsive design, localized experience, local payment methods, and test order capabilities. All the new features that we keep building into Convert Plus will also be available for merchants using our new Shopify connector. Next on the list of connector updates is Magento and PrestaShop, which are currently being developed. As always, we're looking for early adopters to help validate and improve the experience. If you're interested, watch for updates from 2Checkout asking you to contact us to participate.
Thank you, Lorraine. And that covers the initial acquisition flow, but if you're selling subscriptions, getting the customers to purchase your products or your services is just one piece of the puzzle. Keeping them is a whole new other story, especially during these times when customers around the world are forced to rethink their budgets, to reevaluate the way they're investing their money and their commitments to different solutions month over month. And keeping that churn at bay is no easy task these days, but having an enhanced toolkit at hand can make a difference. It can help you recover those initial investments that you've put in place to acquire a customer and keep recovering them month over month. Today, I'm happy to introduce you to two new capabilities that hopefully will help you in your retention efforts. I'm talking about pausing capabilities and enhanced subscription management for your distribution channel. Well, prior to this half a year, managing usage was mostly consisted of bulk uploading daily usage with the CSV file that our merchants were doing through Control Panel, and they had little abilities to edit, delete, or read that usage after it was uploaded. This was a big caveat to merchants with large volumes of usage data, as well as those who had multiple usages to upload. As it would give them little to no control over how that usage was being added. This is why we've decided to invest in this ability to automate the management of the usage with the help of APIs, which now allow our merchants to add usage line items at a more granular level, even for multiple seconds within the same minute. And it also allows them to edit, delete, and read individual usage line items. This ultimately means quicker and cheaper implementations for usage-based plans. Companies no longer need to set up processes to create CSV files on their end, but it also reduces the revenue spillage, and it adds greater accuracy because usage can now be uploaded and processed instantly, as well as it can be modified in case it's incorrect. It also gives a bit more insight into how the services are being used because they now have the ability to read the usage from our platform. Now, I was mentioning about the second area, and the second aspects that we've invested on the subscription side was in our ability to reduce voluntary churn for our merchants, which comes in real handy during this pandemic. Our main capabilities are oriented towards reduction of churn, and they happen to be automatic renewal enrollment campaigns, churn prevention campaigns, and as we released towards the end of last year, the ability to pause subscription. Now, this first half of the year, we wanted to improve our capability in this area by offering our customers the ability to use subscription pause without writing any code, either directly from their merchant control panel while their shopper or retention teams are on the call with a customer, or offer it through a churn prevention campaign. And with this, we're hoping to help our merchants recover most of what we're seeing, about 10% of subscriptions which are canceled simply because the subscribers want to pause their subscriptions during these times. And Lorraine, maybe you can help us demo a bit the pausing capabilities in real life. Lorraine, you might be on mute, just so you know.
Yes. For this demo, I'll walk you through the customer experience, your control panel where you can pause subscriptions, or your customer service reps can utilize this feature, and finally how to set up a churn campaign using the subscription pause feature. First, I'm going to log into my account as a customer. I go to my products tab, and I can see the products that I own. If I want to stop my automatic renewal or pause my subscription, I would click here. When I click here, I receive a message, okay? If you disable this, you may encounter interruptions in our services if you don't manually renew on time. I still want to proceed. So then it's asking for a cancellation reason. And in this case, I chose that I want to pause my subscription, which puts me to the next step. And I can enter in a date. How long do I want to pause this? For instance, I'm going on vacation. Yay, until the end of September. So I want to pause it until then. So that means on September 30th, I will then be charged and go back to a renewal of my subscription. If I chose no, I really still want to stop, I can be offered a discount. So in this case, keep auto renewal enabled and get 15% on your next renewal. So from a customer service or control panel side of things, I've opened up here a subscription. So I can see that this subscription is due to expire on July 20th. Say the customer calls and wants to cancel. You ask them why they want to cancel, and you get into discussion, and you find out they like the service, but because of maybe COVID-19 and changes in their personal situation, they won't be able to use it until September 1st. So you suggest that you can pause their subscription. So I can go in, change my subscription date until September 1st, confirm it, and you can see because I was not logged in, I got timed out. Save, and you'll see the subscription is now paused until September 1st. You can also come back in if they call back and say they want to have service back. You can come in here and delete pause. I've shown you the experience. Now let me give you a peek into the setup of a churn prevention campaign. So just like any other campaigns, you create one. I'm going to show you one that I have created already. I have to give it a name. I can leave start and end date open. It'll start immediately, like this one started this morning and will not end until I stop the campaign, or I can put start and end dates in it. And then I have 4 options here. My default message, so that's mandatory. When a customer clicks on stop auto renewal, you display a message to your customers. In my case, in this other campaign, I say, if you disable automatic renewal, you may lose out on our services. Obviously, these are customizable, easily entered by you and customizable. The next is a request cancellation reason. I have it enabled like I showed you in the demo, but this can be optional. In other words, it will ask it, but they don't have to put anything, or you can require it. The same thing for this means that they'll fill one in, but they can bypass it and go and continue to cancel or keep. It gives them an option. The same thing on subscriptions being paused. Remember, I chose to enter that I was going on vacation and setting a date, but I could have said stop, and then I would move on to provide a discount incentive. And on these discount incentives that we recommend them, but they're not required. Here I offered a 20% discount on the next 3 billing cycles. And I can again use HTML tags and fields in order to communicate, give the customer an awareness of what's going on. As Juana stated earlier, we've seen our merchants recover 10% of subscriptions which are canceled simply because subscribers want to pause their subscription.
Thank you, Lorraine. You're lucky to say that you're traveling in September. I, for one, don't travel that much these days, and I know for sure I have a couple of subscriptions to some services I was using when traveling that I'll probably want to pause these days, especially since, and given the current conditions, all the traveling that I've been doing is through the eyes of our customers that sell internationally. And just because I just mentioned this internationally, keeping track and managing of all the changes in local regulations, be it taxes, be it payments, or data privacy, security, and the list goes on. I know it can be both time consuming and costly for our merchants, as well as it can create a lot of issues with their end customers. But this battle can be easier to manage with the enhancements that we're adding this summer. And the first enhancement comes to help our merchants selling into US, where we know that various organizations and individuals are exempt from sales tax. For subscription selling companies, we've worked on extending the support for US tax exemption clients with better certificate management and a seamless renewal tax deduction. The second aspect is manage increasing levels of tax complexity can be difficult, which is why we took this on ourselves. And we've also upgraded our tax engine to increase the accuracy of the way it determines taxes for products being sold through 2Checkout. More precisely, merchants are able to let us know which are the tax categories for their products, and 2Checkout will determine the correct taxes based on the tax nexus and the local regulations where that product is being sold, including those non-taxable products like educational services in the States. And managing and adapting to changing regulations wouldn't be possible without a scalable platform that provides accurate insights and adapts to new requirements. With the reports that our merchants use being key for them to be able to react in their markets, we wanted to invest in the searching technology that we offered for them, so that the searches they do in control panel or through instant order search exports is being done a lot faster. It has increased accuracy, and it also allows 2Checkout search capabilities to be more flexible as we want to invest even more in this functionality. And last but definitely not least, we constantly upgrade the platform controls for payments and money flows to make sure we are PCI level 1 and payment institution compliant, to be PSD2 readiness and in compliance with the latest privacy and data protection regulations such as GDPR or CCPA that I'll be talking later on. Now, to help our merchants scale with built-in compliance and performance, it takes a lot of effort. And Lorraine here is going to help me walk a bit through all the complexity that we have to handle. Lorraine, since you're familiar with the US, tell us a bit about US tax exemption.
Right. Like VAT exemption in other countries. In the US, there are various organizations and individuals that are exempt from sales taxes for a variety of reasons. Resellers, governmental agencies, and nonprofit organizations, to name a few. Tax exemption certificates are a way in which a business or organization attests that it's tax exempt. The current practice in the industry is to handle tax exemption requests reactively via partial refunds performed manual. However, one of the drawbacks is that future renewals linked to a subscription don't take into consideration if a previous order has been flagged as tax exempt. So customers have to request a refund for each subsequent renewal payment. The reason is it's different in the US in that every state, and even down to a zip code or an area within a city, could have different regulations, as well as every state handles tax exemption a little bit differently. There's not an organized, centralized, like VAT tax exemption. So to address this, we've built an architecture that allows us to store information from tax exemption certificates. And for the subscriptions that are flagged as tax exempt, all auto renewal orders will automatically be placed without taxes if the certificate is still valid. This will have a huge impact for customers as there's no need to manually request and refund taxes for those orders, and will result in an increase on customer retention on subscription products. This is available for our merchants using 2Monetize, our reseller model. Since we're on the subject of tax, we've upgraded our tax determination and reporting engine, automatically updating tax rates as regulations change around the world. With this upgrade, we're also introducing the support for more granular tax rates per product category. Each product from the shopping cart can be assigned to a different tax category, and the system is able to calculate different rates per line item. Software as a service, for example, is taxed differently in some states than software delivered electronically. And we've opened the door for more opportunities on our payments side with 2Sell and 2Subscribe, because now we can determine taxes differently for different services or physical goods, from computer hardware to clothing or gardening accessories. And while some products have lower taxes, other ones are completely exempted from tax. For example, products that fall under foods category are considered non-taxable products in Malta. Determining and applying the proper taxes has a direct impact on conversion rates, with customers no longer stopping mid-purchase to ask about unexpected taxes or abandon the cart out of fear of unnecessary costs. As for all 2Checkout tax-related products, this feature is available for all merchants who have chosen to offload the tax complexity onto 2Checkout with the 2Monetize package or the tax calculator add-on for 2Sell and 2Subscribe.
Thank you, Lorraine. And this leads us to the less seen side of local regulations, the infrastructure, the security, the data privacy requirements of the world. And 2Checkout continues to act on the promise to simplify the complexity of selling worldwide for all sizes of companies. And our commitment is to reduce the risks for even larger scale investments. The platform is being constantly updated, as I was mentioning earlier, for PCI compliance, for card schemes regulations, but also for privacy and data protection, such as GDPR or CCPA, as well as performance and security. And while many developments are many times unseen during your experiences with our solutions, I did want to take a moment and touch a bit on the major ones that might be visible to you as well. Because if until now MD5 was the only hashing algorithm that we supported, we've now extended this list to include SHA-2 and 3, because SHA family of algorithms are considered to be much safer when it comes to brute force attacks. And it's also one of the reasons why they're usually preferred and recommended during security audits. So providing this alternative on top of existing functionalities makes it easier for our merchants to deal with security checks, with audits, and it also increases their security when authenticating the way they interact with 2Checkout APIs or different interfaces. Now, the second investment was related to improving your experience while you search for orders, either from your merchant control panel or using the instant order search export. This is why we've integrated a new technology called Elasticsearch that now allows for search results to be returned a lot faster and with increased accuracy. It's this improvement that also allows us to scale our capabilities a lot easier and be more flexible as we invest in the reporting capabilities of our platform. And the last point I want to touch upon is data privacy. By now, many of you that sell in Europe are familiar with GDPR and the rules that came with it. Now, this year, other countries have started a similar process in the attempt to protect their citizens' data. One example that's probably familiar to companies in the US is the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA. There are others around the world, such as LGPD in Brazil. And we're monitoring all these regulations and we take the proper actions so you don't have to worry. That means that we've ensured the compliance per all the previous mentioned rules throughout all the types of web domains interaction points, informing your end customers about the cookies that we place, collecting their acknowledgement, and depending on different regions and different regulations, letting them choose which optional cookies they want to enable. So, dear audience, if you've stuck with us until this point, you've heard us talk about all the juicy details that are part of our summer release. And I know there's a lot of information to digest, so allow me to wrap it up in a key phrase to remember. For us, the summer release brings to the Avengate monetization platform a lot of investments that support you to survive, adapt, and grow in a fast-changing economy, from the advanced out-of-the-box promotions and pricing capabilities to cutting-edge cart abandonment and churn prevention tools, and embedded ordering options for brand-centric experiences with deeper localization options as it comes to payments, tax, and compliance. And if you don't know where to start, I strongly recommend you start testing the voluntary churn prevention that Lorraine was demoing and find out if pausing subscription is something that your customers were looking for during these times. If you're selling internationally, make sure you check and enable the payment methods that are most relevant for your target markets. And if you're not sure which ones they are, do reach out to us. We're more than happy to guide you into the right direction. For those of you who are integrating with 2Checkout using third-party solutions like Shopify, Magento, or PrestaShop that Lorraine was mentioning, come join our early adopter programs and experience these new improvements that come with the new ordering engines. And last but not least, keep an eye on our website resources and the blog posts for any new interesting insights from our conversion rate optimization programs. You'll find new ideas to test and iterate and some new opportunities to try using your 2Checkout solution. And with that, I think it's time to turn the table and see if you have any questions that came up during the webinar. What do you say, Lorraine? Shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we have a question from Louis. He's asking if custom prices he sends through inline cart would automatically be converted into other currencies if the customer changes it. Lorraine, you want to take all this?
Yeah, sure. So the ordering engine automatically converts the amount into the currency that the customer selects. So if in my example, if I don't pass, country, it's going to detect via IP where I am, and it's going to display into my local currency with that price converted into local currency.
Awesome. Okay, we have another question from Henry. If I'm using the previous Convert Plus template, will this new default one affect my ordering flow? Do I need to change my buy links?
Oh, I'll take that one as well. Existing buy links from previous versions of the template will automatically be updated to use the new version. So those buy links on custom carts will not be impacted.
Sounds good. Okay, we have a question from Erica. Is there any prerequisite to the US tax exemption for existing accounts? No, there's no activation required for you as a merchant. This new process will be available to use by default. Okay, and there's another question on taxes from George. Can shoppers pay without taxes when placing an order? Yes, George, this feature is available in our new ordering engine. It's actually the second phase of the project that's already in development. This current release that we're talking about today covers the renewals for the orders that have been flagged as a tax exemption. In order to get a refund on their taxes for the initial order, the customer would need to reach out to us and provide the initial tax exemption certificate. Once we have it, it will be automatically applied for his all recurring transactions. Okay, we have a question on Shopify from Jose. Will merchants using the old 2Checkout integration with Shopify be automatically switched to Convert Plus? Lorraine, you want to tackle this?
Sure. In this case, no, the switch will not be made automatically. So they'll need to switch on their own. And we have a knowledge base article that was in the presentation, and you can search for Shopify on our knowledge base, which is knowledgecenter.2checkout.com.
Okay, and since I have you on Shopify, there's one more question on Shopify. It's
okay.
From Irina. She's asking if new payment methods are available through the new Shopify integration.
Yes. So recently we added local payment methods in Brazil, but this new implementation using Convert Plus allows us to expand the list of payment methods as we start including more and more in the 2-cell package.
Thank you, Lorraine. Okay. Whew, a lot of questions. Hope I get a chance to tackle all of them. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna mess a name or two. Shaun, I hope I pronounced it right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Asks if have you seen an increase in the number of companies offering pay-per usage plans after the start of the pandemic? I can take this one if you want. We have definitely seen an increased appetite for any means that can help reduce churn, and usage-based pricing is one of these pricing models which is also meant to prevent churn because it's a more balanced price to value approach. Customers usually feel they're getting the full value of what they're paying. So to answer your question, yes, we did see an increase in the adoption of this pricing model as customers start testing it out and see if it converts and retains better. Okay, we have another question from, I'm definitely not gonna try and read the name because I'll definitely gonna make it wrong. Is this tax info valid for US or for sales around the world?
I'll take it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You want to take that?
No,
okay.
No, take
Yeah. So tax exemption in Europe for VAT is already supported. Okay. With this release, we're adding US tax exemption. And right now it's through a post-sale process. So we refund the tax based on the exemption certificate that the shopper sends to us. Once we have that, we can apply that for subsequent renewal orders without the need for the shopper to submit an additional tax refund request.
Sorry, was on mute. Okay, there's a question from Mark. First of all, great webinar, thank you. My question is, will this new option to pause a subscription, will this then contact our license control and pause the license timer within our system as well? Or is this function only for being charged within 2Checkout system? I can take that one. For every event that has to do with pausing, our system triggers a webhook notification. So if you're integrated using IPNs and LCNs, those will trigger a notification to your licensing system. So you will know that a pause was requested or was initiated by a customer. So you can also adapt your licensing controls to match. It will also give you the details about when is the pausing going to start and for how long, so you can also make the proper changes. There are a lot of questions. Let's see. Should we take one more?
Sure, let's do one more.
Okay. Is e-commerce company need to pay tax in each country they sell in, or just where they are located? Do you want to take that one, or shall I?
Go ahead.
Well,
you're on a roll.
I was mentioning about all that complexity about selling internationally. Well, when it comes to e-commerce, companies need to pay tax in each country they sell in, because there are various regulations around the world around how you are supposed to deduct the taxes and how you're supposed to remit. In Europe, for example, it doesn't matter where you're located as a business. As long as you sell to a European customer, you're supposed to collect the VAT that's proper for that country. I'm, for example, from Romania. Our VAT is 19%. If I'm buying from an international company, I expect to pay those 19%, as well as it's becoming more and more common in the world for local governments to automate and move towards online the management of taxes, local taxes. That also means they're starting to look a lot closer at the international sellers and how they're responding to those tax regulations locally. Okay, let's take one more, Lorraine. I feel generous today.
Yeah. How about I handle this one? In your inline cart demo, first example on CodePen, I'm confused about how to generate the signature. So some of the inline checkout printers require a signature to prevent any interference in the ordering process. All the details about how to generate that signature are again in our Knowledge Center. Okay, so the role of the signature is really not to leave any open door for fraud attempts in those use cases where the price is defined on the fly. So you don't want them to be able to intercept that move to the inline checkout and change the price, and that's why we use the signature. Again, on our Knowledge Center, it gives step-by-step on how to generate that signature. Juana?
I was on mute, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was saying that I realized we're getting close to the hour, so
yeah.
We'll go quickly through the questions, see if there's anyone we can take quickly. If not, for every other questions that we still have left, there's quite a list bundling up. We'll follow up in the email afterwards. I just quickly go
Good
through.
idea. Yeah, I'm reading through. There are quite a few.
Okay, there's a question from Mirza, if I pronounced it right. It asks, does 2Checkout support the payment of these taxes after collection? For our to monetize packages, yes. For basically the companies that sell digital goods, our to monetize package covers everything that has to do with taxes. We are collecting, determining, and remitting the taxes that we collect for you. If you're selling products that are outside of digital products, so if you're selling physical goods and you're using our tax calculator, for example, to determine automatically and collect the taxes, it's up to you to handle the remittance. And with that, we should probably stop for today and handle all the remaining questions via email as we follow up. Again, thank you very much for staying with us until now at every hour around the globe. We will send you the recording as well as the slides. And as always, we appreciate the feedback. So don't hesitate to fill the form and reach out to us if you have any questions about everything that we've been talking today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.